My wife is an extreme germaphobe, like next level obsessive. We've been married for 3 years now. She acts like anything I touch is contaminated, treating me like I'm covered in dirt. But yesterday I saw something with my own eyes that I never thought possible. I watched her eat half a bowl of leftovers belonging to her male assistant. I didn't cause a scene or call her out on the spot. Instead, the next day I treated her entire office to a massive, expensive feast. When the party was wrapping up, I stood there in front of everyone and dumped all the table scraps into her bowl. I ordered her to finish it all, every single grain, right then and there. I told her, eat it or we're getting a divorce. Earlier that afternoon, my wife had called me out of the blue. She said she had to work overtime and wouldn't be home to have dinner with me. Right then, my best friend hit me up, so we decided to head out for some hot pot. As we walked past a restaurant, my buddy pointed to a table right by the window. "Hey, isn't that your wife over there?" he asked. I looked closely, and even though it was just a silhouette from the back, I knew it was her instantly. That was definitely Tu Uyen Thane, and the guy sitting across from her was her new junior assistant. He'd been with the company for less than a month, a guy named Tran Vu. He was sitting there with a worried look, staring at a half-eaten bowl of egg-fried rice. The next second, Uyen Thane just picked up that bowl without hesitating. She put her head down and finished every single last grain. I just stood there completely frozen in shock. Uyen Thane is supposed to have a severe case of germophobia. For 3 years, we've always eaten separately and used our own sets of utensils. There was this one time I forgot and used my chopsticks to put a piece of fish on her plate. Right in front of my face, she threw her entire bowl of rice and that plate of fish into the trash. Even during our most intimate moments, she'd insist on multiple layers of protection. That's the reason we still don't have any children after 3 years of marriage. And yet here she was, happily eating another man's leftovers. I pushed the door open and walked straight in. I stared her dead in the eyes, gave a cold smile, and asked, "Does it taste good?" That tender look in Uyen Thane's eyes instantly shattered into pure raw panic. That's the reason we still don't have any children after 3 years of marriage. And yet here she was, happily eating another man's leftovers. I pushed the door open and walked straight in. I just stood there staring her down. Then I smiled and asked, "Is it delicious?" That gentle, loving look in Uyen Thane's eyes instantly turned into total terror. I walked into the restaurant and kept my eyes locked on her. Then I asked with a smirk, "Enjoying your meal?" The soft expression on Uyen Thane's face immediately switched to a look of sheer desperation. Tran Vu couldn't finish his food. There was so much left over. I was afraid of wasting it, so I helped him eat it. Don't get the wrong idea. I just smiled calmly. "Weren't you supposed to be working overtime today? How'd you finish so fast?" There was a last-minute change in the project, so it wasn't as urgent anymore. Before Tu Uyen Thane could finish, Lotak suddenly cut in. "Hey, Mr. Liu, have you ever had a job?" These kinds of last-minute changes happen all the time on projects. I glanced at Tran Vu next to her. I asked him, "What are you sticking your nose in for?" Tran Vu suddenly put on a wounded expression. Tu Uyen Thane quickly grabbed my hand. "I was just taking him out for a meal. We're all colleagues here, don't scare him." Tran Vu gently tugged on Tu Uyen Thane's sleeve. "Can you take me home? It's really hard to get a taxi this late." Tu Uyen Thane looked at me. "Honey, you're not mad, are you? How about I take Tran Vu home first?" I didn't object. I even smiled and replied, "Go ahead." Tu Uyen Thane immediately took Tran Vu, turned around, and walked away quickly without a single glance back. I acted like nothing had happened, and continued eating with my friend. The next day, just before quitting time, I walked straight into the CEO's office area. "Everyone stop what you're doing. We're leaving early today. I'm treating everyone to a big dinner." Everyone just stared blankly. No one moved a muscle until Tu Uyen Thane said, "All right, everyone, time to clock out." Only then did people put down their work and follow me to the restaurant. The meal was very cheerful. I waited until the last person put down their chopsticks. Then I spoke up. "Has everyone had enough to eat?" They all said they were full. I then called a waiter to bring a large bowl and place it in front of Tu Uyen Thane. Then I stood up and collected all the leftover rice, the dregs of soup from everyone's bowls, and poured it all into the large bowl in front of Tu Uyen Thane. She stared at me completely baffled. I smiled at her. "Go on, eat up. Aren't you the one who hates to waste things?" "Oh, you're afraid of wasting food. In that case, finish your colleagues' leftovers." Inside the CEO's office, the atmosphere in the private room suddenly turned ice cold. Tu Uyen Thane's face darkened. "Eat it, I'm already full." I cut her off before she could explain, snapping at her. "I don't care. You're not leaving this room until you finish every last bite in that bowl." Tran Vu shot to his feet. "Are you insane? For 3 years, you've been a stay-at-home husband, pinching every penny on every purchase. You're completely dependent on CEO2. And now you're blowing this out of proportion just to humiliate her like this. You're absolutely shameless. Just look at that red furious face of yours. Come on, my dear wife, why aren't you eating? You had no problem eating Tranvu's leftovers, but you turn your nose up at another employee's. Why the double standard? Tun looked at me, then back at the bowl of leftovers in front of her. After a moment of hesitation, she finally picked up her chopsticks and began to furiously stuff the food into her mouth. Beside her, Tranvu cried out in alarm. CEO, to please stop eating. You'll destroy your stomach doing this. Why are you even listening to him? He's just a bum who can't earn a single cent. What right does he have to order you around? Tranvu snatched the chopsticks from Thun's hand. Don't eat anymore. He doesn't care about you, I do. So concerned for another man's wife, are we? Then why don't you eat it for her? My stomach's small, how could I possibly eat all that? Are you just trying to give me a hard time? Then shut your mouth. My face hardened as I grabbed another pair of chopsticks and handed them to Thun. Go on, eat, isn't this what you wanted? Tun took the chopsticks and continued to force the food into her mouth. But she couldn't swallow and she started gagging uncontrollably. Her body trembled violently until she finally couldn't take it anymore. She bent over and began to vomit violently. At her side, Tranvu was so heartbroken that tears started streaming down his face. He gently patted Thun's back while lashing out at me. CEO 2. Thun, a man like you is completely unworthy of being her husband. You're not only completely useless, to her you go out of your way to torment her. So I'm not worthy, but you are. I'm about to go up and replace you right now. My relationship with her is strictly professional. Don't you dare spout such nonsense. How can you prove it? Why don't you think about it yourself? What's there for me to think about? I'm doing a great job. Suwanking, her eyes red from vomiting, suddenly spoke up. You're fired. Chen Yu froze, then his face crumpled as if he were about to cry. He whined in a drawn-out voice, Director Su. He collapsed against Suwanking, the woman who had never once gotten angry at me, and she absolutely erupted. She slammed the table and shot to her feet. You have no right to fire my employee. I walked straight up to Chen Yu and slapped him twice across the face. I don't hold a position in this corporation. So you're right, I can't fire you, but I sure as hell can slap you. Su Wangking immediately pulled the crying Chen Yu into an embrace. You have gone way too far. Maybe back when I caught her eating Chen Yu's leftovers, she still felt a little bit of guilt towards me. But now, even that last shred of guilt was completely gone. It's because I've always spoiled you that you've become so rotten. As for your punishment, I'm freezing all of your cards. Chen Yu, who had been shedding tears just a moment ago, heard that all my cards were about to be frozen, and an irrepressible smirk crept across his face. Well, this isn't good, is it? Mr. Liu was supposed to be treating us today. Now that you've frozen all his cards, how is he supposed to pay for this meal? It must cost at least tens of thousands of yuan, which is enough to land him in jail. If Mr. Liu can't pay security, we'll probably drag him away. Su Wanking took a deep breath. Apologize to Chen Yu. Do that and I'll drop this whole thing. Hearing that I was furious, pointing at Chen Yu, I yelled, You want me to apologize to him? Are you insane or am I? Tranvu pretended to console the CEO To Uyenthin. Ms. Tu, I'm just a lowly assistant. A little suffering is nothing to me. Mr. Luke, this is all my fault. Don't you dare apologize to Tranvu. On the surface, he grabbed my wrist, but in reality, he was squeezing it hard. It hurt so much I shoved his hand away. Get off me! I barely used any force, but somehow Tranvu went flying. He crashed right onto the dining table, sending all the plates and bowls smashing to the floor. He fell down himself, getting covered in grease and food. A shard from a broken plate even cut a line across his hand and blood dripped onto the ground. Lutrikan, you've gone too far. Ta Uyentan slapped me right across the face. My head snapped to the side from the force of the blow. I licked the corner of my mouth and tasted something metallic. Suddenly I felt a wave of relief. Are you blind? He was the one squeezing my arm and I barely even pushed him. He's faking that fall. Ta Uyentan helped Tranvu to his feet using the silk handkerchief I gave her for her birthday. She used it to bandage Tranvu's still bleeding hand. Her name was embroidered on that handkerchief, stitched by my own 2 hands. But now those 2 letters were stained red with Tranvu's blood. Let's go. With her arm around Tranvu, To Uyenthan turned and left without a single look back. The rest of the group quickly made their excuses one by one. In almost no time at all, every single one of them had cleared out. I was the only one left in the massive room. A waiter knocked and entered. The bill, sir. I took a card out of my wallet to pay. He swiped it, but the reader showed insufficient funds. I'm sorry, sir, this card was declined. I handed him another one, but it also said insufficient funds. All 7 of my cards, not a single one worked. To Uyentan, she'd actually frozen all of my accounts. The waiter just kept staring at me. Sir, do you have another form of payment? I tried calling a buddy of mine, but who knows where he was or what he was doing, he didn't pick up. The waiter just kept staring at me. Sir, do you have another form of payment? I tried calling my friend again, but I had no idea where he was. Why wouldn't he pick up the phone? Wherever he was, whatever he was doing, he just wouldn't answer. You're not even replying to my WeChat messages. The waiter and we just stood there completely frozen. Don't worry, I'll definitely pay. The employee lost his patience and radioed his manager. We have a customer who's trying to dine and dash. Before I knew it, the hotel manager showed up with the police. Sir, please come with us. I tried to explain myself to the police, but to them it was all just excuses. I was taken to the station to give a statement. Just then my friend finally called me back. 20 minutes later he showed up at the station to pay for me, and I was finally free to go. Looking back at the gates of the police station, I suddenly burst out laughing. Me, the sole heir of the 5U group, actually ended up getting hauled to a police station because I couldn't afford a meal. If word of this got out, wouldn't I be a laughingstock? My ambition was to be a devoted husband, a good partner to a wife who wanted to be a powerhouse. But who knew that after I helped to Uyen Then get to the top, the first person she'd cut down would be me, the woman I loved. But who knew that after I helped to Uyen Then get to the top, the first person she'd cut down would be me, the one I held in my heart. It seems from the very beginning, I made the wrong choice. When I got to my front door, I saw a pair of men's leather shoes, the same ones Tran Vu was wearing today. Tu Yen Tan heard the noise and came out of the bedroom, our eyes locking by chance. Without saying a word, I stormed straight into the bedroom and saw Tran Vu shirtless from the waist up, wearing Tu Yen Thun's pajama bottoms. The pants were tight and short on him. He was drying his hair, clearly having just finished a shower, using the shower in my master bedroom. Seeing this, I saw red. I pointed at Tu Yen Then and yelled, "You get your husband thrown in a police station and then bring your assistant home." Tu Yen Then, you're really something else. You don't get the wrong idea. Tran Vu's clothes got dirty and the hotel was so close to our house. So I just brought him up here to shower and change into something else. Besides, don't you hate it when other people, you're touching my things? That's why I told him to wear mine. The way Tu Yen Then said it so matter-of-factly, it was as if I was the one being unreasonable. Aren't you supposed to be a pathological clean freak? You insist on washing our clothes separately, and now you're letting him wear your stuff. So it turns out your obsessive cleanliness only applies to me is that Tran Vu put on that same phony innocent act. Mr. Luke, please don't misunderstand. Ms. To said she was giving me these pants. She wasn't going to wear them again. Was I talking to you? My wife and I are having a conversation. What are you butting in for? Tran Vu put on a wounded expression. I was just afraid you'd misunderstand Ms. To. That made me even angrier. Oh, you're just so considerate, aren't you? Tu Yen Then roared at me. Luke Trek, that's enough. You make a scene at the hotel and now you're starting again at home. I roared right back. You think I want this? Tran Vu pulled on Tu Yen Ten's sleeve. It's okay, Ms. To. Just try to bear with it. He is your husband after all. I'm just an assistant. What does it matter if I'm treated unfairly? So what if he's my husband? That doesn't give him the right to push you around. Watching the two of them flirt right in front of me, I said coldly, let's get a divorce to Uyen Then. Tu Yen Then was stunned by my sudden words. What did you say? Are you deaf? I said, let's get a divorce. You want to divorce me over something this small? You think this is a small thing? There's nothing going on between me and Tran Vu. He's just a kid who's new to the workforce. I'm just helping him out a little. What's wrong with that? Seeing Tu Yen Then's nonchalant, innocent expression just infuriated me. I don't like my woman taking care of another man. It disgusts me. Like I'd stepped on her tail, Tu Yen Then instantly exploded. Fine, you want a divorce? Then you get out of this house. You want a divorce? Is that it? Then get out, my money, my house. They have nothing to do with you anymore. Without me, you'll have nothing. Furious, she called her lawyer and told him to draw up the divorce papers. Before long, the well-dressed lawyer arrived with the divorce agreement. I signed it without a second thought. Seeing me sign, Tu Yen Then signed it without hesitation as well. Tran Vu was trying to hide a smirk, probably thinking to himself, he probably can't even afford his next meal, can he? Get the hell out. What right do you have to tell me to get out? Even Ms. Tu hasn't told me to leave. Tu Yen Then and I haven't finalized our divorce yet. As of right now, I'm still the master of this house. Get out. Hearing this, Tu Yen Then wrapped an arm around Tran Vu. This house is mine. If anyone's getting out, it's you. Then she called the maid to pack up all my things and throw them outside. In no time, my belongings were piled up in front of the mansion's gate like a small mountain. I calmly opened my phone and sent a message to a group chat. Hey uncles, I'm getting divorced. Tu Yen Then just kicked me out of the house. The group chat immediately exploded. Messages started flooding in. Tu Yen Then must have had it too good for too long to dare and treat our precious nephew like this. Has she forgotten her place? After everything we did to build her up, she dares to treat Luke Track this way. I think she has a death wish. Enough talk, it's time to act. I stood in front of the mansion's gate watching the messages appear one by one. Tran Vu was also at the door watching me with his arms crossed. What's still here? It's no use regretting it, because from now on you won't be able to live here. You'll be lucky if you can even look at it. A big, beautiful mansion? Like this is hard to come by. Just as he was gloating, a car from the prosecutor's office pulled up. Seeing the official car parked in front of the mansion, to Yu Tang and Tran Vu both froze. 3 officers got out of the car and slapped a seizure notice on the main gate. To Wei Tan was stunned, facing the law enforcement officers. On what grounds are you seizing my house? Who gave you that right? A prosecutor stepped forward. Here are my credentials and the official order to seize your assets. You've been accused of abusing your position to embezzle corporate assets. We are now proceeding to take control of your property in accordance with the law. And it's not just this mansion. I believe all of your assets will soon be confiscated. To Yu Than was completely stunned. How can this be happening? Who accused me? Do you have any proof? Every single senior shareholder of the 5U group. And we have irrefutable evidence. All the senior shareholders accused me at once. That's impossible. Just then her phone suddenly rang. She answered and a voice came from the other end. CEO, all the shareholders on the board have unanimously voted to remove you. As of now, you have been suspended from your duties. On what grounds are they removing me? Hanging up, to Yu Than paced back and forth in a rage, a vein throbbing on her forehead. Tran Vu was startled by this unexpected situation. Why is your house suddenly being seized like this? Could someone be pulling strings behind the scenes? To Yu Tan's mind was a complete mess. Why would all those old geezers suddenly team up to take me down? Since when have they ever been that united? Something's definitely not right. Just then, the driver who came to pick me up arrived. Young master, my apologies for being late. Traffic was a bit heavy. I waved it off. Shall I put your things in the trunk for you, young master? I pointed to the pile of luggage beside me. We won't be needing any of this. Just load these things into the car. To Yu Tang froze. You have a private driver. Why did he call you young master? Yani. Before I married you, I was a young master. Did you really think my father would hand over the group and let you think you were the real owner of 5U? Well, at the end of the day, 5U is still a Luke family business. Did you honestly believe a mere executive CEO like yourself could get rid of me? The person who holds 50% of the company's shares? The chairman of the board. Hearing this, To Yu Than stared at me in utter disbelief. Why do you have half of Feiyu's shares? Are you saying my father can't give company shares to an outsider? Hearing this, To Yu Than laughed. Are you out of your mind? The transfer of shares from your father to you requires my signature. Until I sign it, that contract is just a worthless piece of paper. Besides, the contract specifically states that if we divorce, this will is automatically nullified and those shares will automatically be transferred to my name. When my father passed away, he said that after I had been in charge for 3 years, the shares in his name would automatically be transferred to me. My 3 years were up last month, which means that contract should have already taken effect. Unbelievable, the two of you, father and son, colluded to trick me, forcing me to slave away for you like an animal. After all these years of plotting, you end up with nothing. But you did get something. With that, I looked over at Tran Vu. Didn't you win the beauty you always wanted in your arms? My words made To Yu Tan's face turn pale. I kept going. You should learn when to be satisfied. At the very least, you had 3 years of living in luxury, didn't you? On the outside, it might have looked like I was living off of you, but in reality, you were the one living off of me. Someone with a different last name like you should have known her place. You were the CEO for 3 years, got used to being on top and forgot who you are. Let me remind you that you are just my employee. Without me, Luke Track, you are nothing. Who knows, you might still be a sales rep somewhere right now. What's more, I was the one who asked you to help manage the corporation in the first place. If you had just been content as my wife, maybe I would have given you what you wanted. But now you've disappointed me far too much. As To Yu Tang listened to me, her expression grew increasingly twisted. I still wasn't going to let her off the hook. You should have kept up the act a little longer. Who knows, if you had just endured for a few more months, I might have signed the contract. By then, you would have gotten the company shares, and it would have at least taken some effort to drag me down. Your mistake was your impatience. You dropped the act faster than I thought. Hearing this, To Yu Than froze, looking completely shell-shocked. The board voted to remove me. Was it because of you? Every director in this company is practically my uncle. They've been with my father in this business for half their lives. They're his best friends. Naturally, they treat me like their own nephew. The only reason they ever agreed to work with you was purely as a favor to me. Did you really think they actually respected a greenhorn CEO like you if you hadn't married into the Luke family? Do you honestly believe that you on your own could have so easily taken the reins of a corporation that's dominated Shanghai for decades? You give yourself way too much credit. At that, To Uyen-then ran her hands through her hair, her face beat red. Tran-vu still couldn't understand what was going on. Ms. To, what is he talking about? He's saying the 5U group belongs to the Luke family. How does he own so many shares of 5U? Listening from the side, I chuckled and said to Tran-vu, when you joined this company, didn't you learn about the group's history? It seems you weren't paying attention. If you'd paid even the slightest bit of attention during your training, you would know that the founder of 5U, who carries the Luke family name, is my father Luke Hongtran. Tran-vu was stunned to hear this. His jaw just hung open. Looking at his expression, I found it pathetic. Weren't you the one saying I had no right to be here? What's wrong? You want to end up just like her. You were talking pretty tough a minute ago, weren't you? Telling me to get lost. Even saying you were going to hit me? Firing you? With that, I turned my gaze to To Uyen-then. You also told me I had no authority to fire your employees. Tomorrow I will officially take over 5U and become the new chairman of the board. And at that time I will, in front of every senior executive in this corporation, announce my decision to fire you both. At the same time, I will also issue an order to have you blacklisted across the entire industry. Any company that works with 5U will be forbidden from ever hiring you again. That's the price you two pay for provoking me. Director, he's just bluffing to scare me, right? He can't possibly have that much power, can he? To blacklist me from the entire industry. And you won't get dragged down either, will you? Honey, I think we need to have a serious talk. Stop it! We already signed the divorce agreement. Don't call me your husband. To Uyen-then's voice choked with emotion. Even though we signed the agreement, we haven't gotten the official divorce certificate yet. Technically, we're still husband and wife. Besides, I was just trying to scare you. I never actually wanted to divorce you. So throwing all of my belongings out on the street and canceling all my cards, that was just to scare me. I was just angry at the time. Can you please forgive me? I'll have someone reactivate your cards right away. I don't need your worthless cards anymore. Besides, all of your assets have already been frozen. Your cards are nothing but useless plastic now. With that, I pulled those very cards from my wallet, flicked them one by one. To Uyen-then then turned and got into the car. Just as I was about to close the door, To Uyen-then rushed forward. Husband, get out! Please don't go! Let's just talk this out properly. But I had already locked the doors long before. There was no way she could open them. The car sped off, leaving To Uyen-then completely helpless, frozen on the spot. The driver took me back to the old family estate. It was in an even better location than To Uyen-then's villa. From the outside, it looked like a medieval castle. Inside, there was a staff of over 30 people. Gardeners, cleaners, chefs, a butler, bodyguards. In short, it was both comfortable and completely secure. Sleeping in a new place so suddenly felt a bit strange. Lying in bed, I thought back to the first day I ever met To Uyen-then. All for a $10 million contract. She'd even risked her own life just to block a director's car. Even after getting thrown by a car, she could jump right back up. She'd just limp forward and start pitching the company's products. I loved that ambition of hers. I thought she could help me run a massive corporation like this, so I could do what I love, travel, tend to my garden, and just live a quiet life. And the truth is, I wasn't wrong about her. She actually pulled it off. She did a great job running the 5U Corporation for me, even if she sometimes used her position for her own personal gain. I just looked the other way. My only demand was that she excel as the CEO of the corporation and be a faithful wife. The next morning, I put on a sharp business suit. I left the house right on time and headed to the corporate headquarters. When I got to the boardroom, all the directors and senior executives were already in their seats. The moment I walked into the room, a wave of enthusiastic applause erupted. Every single person had a huge, excited smile on their face. They'd been telling me for a long time. They were always hoping I'd come back to take over the company. I hadn't been there for 2 minutes when Su-won King arrived, with Tran-vu right behind her. I took my place at the head of the table. Is everyone present? I would like to formally announce the decision of the board of directors. Miss Won-king for the crime of embezzlement. Every single person had a huge, excited smile on their face. They'd been telling me for a long time. They were always hoping I'd come back to take over the company. I hadn't been there for 2 minutes when Su-won King arrived, with Tran-vu right behind her. I took my place at the head of the table. Is everyone present? I would like to formally announce the decision of the board of directors. Miss Won-king for the crime of embezzlement. Tran-vu chief assistant to the CEO for falsifying his academic credentials and failing to meet the corporation's hiring requirements is hereby terminated. Tran-vu was completely stunned. He never imagined I'd uncover the fact that he faked his degree. Your degree is fake. Miss Sue, I can explain. I was accepted into a 985 university. It was just for health reasons that I couldn't finish. If you two want to explain yourselves, can you please take it outside? This is a high-level meeting of the Fei Yu group. I need you ladies to leave immediately. Oh, and Sue Wanting, I suggest you pack your things immediately because I'm moving in. If your things aren't cleared out by the time this meeting is over, I'll have someone throw everything out for you. When my meeting was over, I went up to the CEO's office and saw Sue Wanting and Chen Yu were still there. I immediately told the assistant next to me, get some people up here and throw all of their junk out. My new assistant graduated from Tsinghua University, a girl my uncle specifically recruited for me. Then I walked over to Chen Yu's desk and picked up the picture frame sitting there. Inside was an intimate photo of him and Sue Wanting. Putting something like this on your desk, anyone who didn't know better would think you were Sue Wanting's husband. Chen Yu snatched the frame from my hand. Don't you touch my things. I may not be Sister Sue's husband now, but I definitely will be in the future. Well, I wish you the best of luck with that. Beside me, Sue Wanting pushed Chen Yu away. I won't divorce. You and I could never marry him. When I agreed to the divorce, it was only because I was throwing a tantrum. The truth is, I never once thought about leaving you. Come on, I know I went too far this time. I'll fire Chen Yu and then everything at the compa. Nai will be yours to control again. Chen Yu has already been fired by me, and I've already fired you too. So you have no right to decide whether he stays or goes. Didn't you always think you were so capable? You thought you got to where you are today all by yourself? Well then go out there and prove it. See if you can climb back to a position like this based on your own abilities. Honey, we've been married for 3 years. How could you be so heartless? Just because I showed some concern for a new assistant, you want to divorce me, and you want to kick me out of the company. You're just being cruel. It's precisely because you were so concerned with that new assistant that I'm divorcing you and kicking you out of the company. Everything you have today is all because of me. The fact that you have a stable career at Fei Yu, that you've climbed so high, it's all because I put up with every single one of your ridiculous quirks. Things like having to share food from separate dishes using separate utensils. Our clothes had to be washed separately. You even made me use protection every single time we were intimate. Fine, I tolerated it. But how could a supposed neat freak eat leftovers from the same bowl as some little assistant? Let him use the master bathroom, our bathroom, and wear your white pajama pants. In front of every colleague in the general director's office, I laid it all out. Immediately, our colleagues' attitudes changed. They looked at those two with utter disgust and contempt, and with fury now that they knew the truth. Sue Wanting, maybe you never liked me from the very beginning. Putting your cleanliness obsession aside, I'll admit for the past 3 years you've been an adequate wife. And in those years, I've paid you back for things I never even owed you. So you don't owe me anything either. Let's just make a clean break. Luza Sue doesn't love you. You should really take a look at yourself to figure out why. I mean, who told you to be so aggressive and completely inconsiderate of others? I'm nothing like you. I actually care about Sue. That's why she's so good to me. I laid it all out. Immediately, our colleagues' attitudes changed. They looked at those two with utter disgust, contempt, and fury now that they knew the truth. Sue Wanting, maybe you never liked me from the very beginning. Putting your cleanliness obsession aside, I'll admit for the past 3 years you've been an adequate wife. And in those years, I've more than repaid you for things I never owed. You don't owe me anything, so let's just end this clean and simple. Luza Sue doesn't love you. You should really ask yourself why. That's because our positions are fundamentally different. You're at the bottom looking up, so of course you have to suck up to Sue Wanting. But I'm already at the top. I don't need to please anyone. That is the biggest difference between the two of us. You're lying. It's obvious you don't love Sue. I'm the one who truly loves her. Oh, really? If you truly love her, then after she gets convicted of embezzlement, has all her assets seized, and takes a little all-expenses-paid trip to prison, I hope you'll stick by her side just like you are now. What are you talking about? She's going to have all her assets seized and go to jail. No way. Don't you try to scare me. Sue Wanting looked like she'd seen a ghost. She's the only one who knows just how much shady stuff she's been up to. The next second, she dropped to her knees in front of me, grabbing my hand and begging through her tears. Honey, please think about our 3 years together. Let me go, please. I shook her hand off. Give me a break. I don't want to see you cry. Begging me is useless. It's the law that won't let you go now. If you can return all the money you embezzled, you might get a lighter sentence. I invested all of that money. Not only did I not make anything, I lost it all. Even if I use everything I have to pay it back, it still won't be enough. I glanced over at Chen Yu. Don't you have your little boy toy right here? Why don't you ask him to chip in and help you out? Me, I don't have any money. I'm just an employee. I haven't even been here a month. I haven't even gotten a single paycheck yet. Ms. Sue, don't listen to him. He's probably just trying to scare you. Honey, I'll use everything I have to pay it back. Whatever's left, I'll pay it off slowly. I really don't want to go to jail. Please just give me a chance to make things right. Hearing this, I answered coldly. So when you froze all my cards, and I couldn't pay the bill, did you ever stop to think that I could have been seen as skipping out on the check and been arrested by the cops? I didn't think of that, I just wanted to scare you. Besides, even though I froze your cards, you still managed to pay in the end, didn't you? You have so many friends. I knew you'd figure something out. I, Lucy, have never in my entire life been humiliated by some employee because I couldn't pay, let alone get dragged down to the station. You completely destroyed my reputation, so now you're getting what you deserve. Instead of begging me, you'd be better off finding a good lawyer, so you can try to get a lighter sentence. Sue Won King slumped to the ground because she knew I wouldn't go easy on her anymore. Chen Yu squatted down beside her. Miss Sue, don't scare me. I know you're the most capable person there is. You'll definitely get through this. Sue Won King burst into tears, clinging to Chen Yu like he was her last lifeline. Chen Yu, if I had nothing left, would you still be with me? Of course I would, I genuinely like you. That's good. Then sell the watches and jewelry I gave you to help me pay off my debts. Then take all the watches and jewelry I gave you, sell them, and help me pay off my debts. I don't have a place to live right now, so I'll have to move in with you. Miss Sue, are you kidding me? How can you ask for a gift back? My place is tiny. How are two people supposed to live there? Even though your assets are frozen, you must still have something stashed away. Why don't we just go live at your place? Wouldn't that work? Don't worry, no matter how hard it gets, I'll be by your side. Stop dreaming. Sue Won King has nothing left. She's tens of millions in debt, completely broke. Chen Yu's hand, which was holding Sue Won King's, slowly let go. Really nothing left at all. What, Chen Yu? What do you mean by that? Didn't you just say that even if I had nothing, you'd stay and help me get back on my feet? Chen Yu shot up, his face twisted with anger. With that much debt, and after being fired by Fei Yu, how could you possibly get back on your feet? I thought you were some powerful chairwoman. Turns out you're just some woman who lives off of men. You completely wasted my time. If you're not some powerful chairwoman, why are you still acting so high and mighty? You really thought Fei Yu belonged to you, huh? Sue Won King's eyes widened in horror as she slowly got to her feet. Chen Yu, what are you saying? All the kindness you showed me, was it all just for my money and my position? Chen Yu put his hands on his hips, completely shameless. Every man wants to find a capable woman to build a life with, without having to worry about a thing. You're young and handsome, so of course you should aim for the elite. Once you settle for hardship, you'll never stop suffering. As for me, I want to find a woman who can give me an endless supply of money, not some ungrateful social climber who uses men to get ahead like you. You liar, you've ruined my life. Who's the liar? What did I ever do to you? All the gifts you gave me combined aren't even worth 1,000,000 yuan. Sue Won King grew even angrier and grabbed Chen Yu by the collar. You shameless bastard, I swear I'll make you pay for this. Sue Won King shoved Chen Yu, causing him to fall. His head slammed into the corner of a table and he was knocked out cold. I had someone take Chen Yu to the hospital. Sue Won King was arrested for assault. A month later, Sue Won King and I received our divorce papers. Soon after the investigation into her embezzlement case was concluded, Chen Yu also disappeared. I later heard that he couldn't find a job, so his parents called him back to his hometown to marry some local landlord. He ended up being a stepdad to someone else's kid. At a class reunion, I ran into my old high school deskmate. Soon after the investigation into her embezzlement case was concluded, Chen Yu also disappeared after that. Word is he couldn't find a job, so his parents called him back home. He married some local landlord and became a stepdad to someone else's kid. At a class reunion, I ran into my old high school deskmate, a landlord, and became a stepdad to someone else's kid. At a class reunion, I ran into my old high school deskmate. Her father is currently a high-ranking official in the military. We fell in love, got married, and we're still together to this day. My wife is 8 months pregnant. Just like that, 3 years went by. While my wife and I were at a baby store picking out clothes for our child, I saw that familiar face again. She was picking trash off the side of the road. My wife and I stood in front of the store holding our baby supplies, and we just looked at each other. She stared at my wife's pregnant belly. Her lips trembled slightly, but in the end, she couldn't say a word. My wife asked, "Do you know her? Let's go home, honey."